right on the topic. So may I bring Linda? Linda, I wanted to bring you immediately after that to speak to this gender and being a community organizer and a community leader. Who is responsible to this? Is it the government? Is it us? We are negligent, or what's happening? Welcome, comrade.
Thank you, Josephat. I would say that I would start by saying that it's not necessarily anybody's fault, but I would say that the structures that we currently have in place uh, emulate the West. They are not necessarily structures that are catered to the Africans. They're not catered to our spirituality. They're not catered to our philosophical societal values. They're catered to emulate the people who colonized us a few years back. It hasn't been that long ago. And I would say that um, in order to go about reversing that, we have to look at the brain drain that has been done. How can we reverse the brain drain? We can't force people to move back to Africa. But is there some way that we can cooperate with our magical brains, with those highly skilled intellectuals that are giving all of their intellects to those other countries? Because obviously they see that there are more opportunities there. Can we create opportunities for our people on the land? And I would say that it's not anybody's fault, but, and I wouldn't think about it as that, but I would think about it as, what can I do about it now? What can we do about it now? Instead of saying whose fault it is, I would say that we need to learn and share with those diaspora, like Mr. Phillips said, and share with those experts and share with those mentors. And I also would like to answer his question about, do we care about the land? We care about the land. You know, right now we have a new form of entrepreneurs called agripreneurs, entrepreneurs that are starting things on the continent. But I would like to say that the majority of the youth have been alienated from our land. We have been institutionalized in a way that we do not know our own languages. We do not know our own history. We do not know that during the Nile Valley civilizations, we had architects, we had agricultural experts who were able to, you know, take in the power that when the Nile would overflow, they would take in that power and harness that power and be able to lead in terms of agriculture and feed the world. So we need to be able to learn from our past, learn from our history. What did we do greatly? Where did we go wrong? You know, and I would like to say one more thing. You know, we don't know. It seems like we don't care, but we care. Um, I didn't grow up knowing so much about our past. I didn't grow up knowing so much about our grand history, but I later on found out, and I later on realize the importance and the invaluable how can I say this, the invaluable, there's just so much that we can learn from our past. You know, we say sankofa, we say go back and get it, you know. And I would like to say, I would urge the youth, in our schools, we're not taught in our own dialects. We're not taught about our own history. We're not taught about our great empires and how we were able to rise and fall, how we were able to last for dynasties, for decades upon decades. So I would urge us to go back and read, you know, read about Sheikh Anta Diop, you know, his books on African civilizations, the origin of civilization, myth or reality. Read about Wangari Maathai. You know, she was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and she founded the Green Belt movement. Read about Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilizations. These are books that really, that changed my viewpoint on Africa. And I would urge us to really go back and read and learn from these people. What did they do correctly? And what can we take? We can't take everything, but we can take bits and pieces to be able to write our own stories and to be able to cater our current governments, to cater our own our needs to our present, to 2020 and to the next centuries.